What's up, y'all? It's T-Tarn. As you know, the 18 type crown was revealed by Pokemon, as well as the 19th Terra type. Both of these are a mystery. They're not gonna tell us what's up with them, but guess who's back? Riddler is back, and he's talking about this new crown. So let's take a second and think about how we think this new type works. There's a couple ideas. The first is, because it's called a Terra type, it could be a temporary state where you're just using all 18 types at once and you're choosing it, or it could be a literal typing with its own strengths and weaknesses. You pick your poison. Is it a real typing? Is it a state? So let's go through Ku's tweets. This is exciting because this sucker's gonna tell us how it works, and then we'll talk about the fake stuff, but we gotta get this out of the way. So this is his first tweet about the 19th type. He says, pay attention to the colorful frames, which will help you understand how this thing works. I see you, Ku. So if you look at the footage, when they show the new crown, they show it spinning around, right? So there are different ways we can go about this. If we want to say it's its own typing, we'll give it its name. We could say rainbow type or crystal type. Let's go with crystal. Okay, this is not relevant to this. I know they look like Z crystals. There's no shot they're merging the games that much. They just happen to be shaped like revives. But okay, if they're gonna call it a 19th type, but also this is supposed to be a hint, it could be something like it's a super protean. So Terrapagus, when it terastallizes, it becomes the crystal type, but its secondary typing is gonna constantly pivot. And so its main crystal typing will have its own weaknesses and strengths, but you try to focus on its pivoting type to try and damage it. This is complicated, isn't it? Hey, they complicated it, don't look at me. And so when we have Pokemon like Baxcalibur, who for some reason they can push the Terastal button and acquire this 19th type, it could work some way like Baxcalibur has to hold this kind of Terra shard and it's locked to that held item. So it can't hold a Focus Sash or anything, but it allows its Terra to trigger into the 19th one, which it could only use with the move Terra Blast. So essentially, Terrapagus would have the 19th type defensively, but we can wield parts of it offensively. If this crystal type has its own types and weaknesses, maybe it's super effective on every type and everything does normal damage to it except the crystal type itself. So that would be reason for you to try and wield its power against it in the final boss. Or else, you know, why wield this typing? Especially since I'm saying you'd have to give up your item to wield it. Unless this typing is overpowered, there's no shot I'm using it. But yeah, so in the final boss battle, you would try to predict Terrapagus pivoting its secondary type with its crown, and that's how you would try to weaken it. But about how it can pivot, instead of it being a protean, it could be something else. Because Ku posted another tweet. He posted, Poison, Grass, Fire, Water, Ice, Fairy, Electric Dragon, Normal, Fighting, Psychic. He's listed the 18 types, but in an intentional order, as evident by him saying this order is sus. So maybe the way the secondary type pivots is it's just gonna cycle through them every 18 turns. Holy frick. I'm not gonna be in battle with you for 18 turns? But then again, when we're fighting Terrapagus, it could be the situation where it's a giant Terra raid, where you got Arva, Nemona, and Penny with you. So maybe he's gonna switch 4 times each turn. Oh my god! You're gonna attack Penny as poison, Nemona's grass. Oh god, this man is like, he's got like a giant machine gun with ammo. You can just keep pivoting, which makes you wonder just what's up with Ogerpon. Ogerpon's little mask versus this giant crown. What do y'all think? Do you think this 19 type is a temporary state where you're using the 18 types and they're introducing nothing new? Or do you think Terrapagus is actually gonna have a typing that you have to figure out how it works and possibly wield the 18 on top of that? This is, yeah, mad complicated. Essentially a dual type protean, but the base type stays crystal, rainbow, 19th. You know, oh my goodness, maybe the terraforms have something to do with the 19th type too. Remember, Pokemon always said they didn't like Mega Evolution because only like 30 Pokemon got it, and that's why they liked Z moves and G maxes. Well, D max is better. It could be a similar situation where every Pokemon can have the base power of just using Terra Blast with the 19th type, but the Terra Pokemon can maybe actually gain the typing for a bit. We're moving on to the R-Fake. So, as you know, Ku has been hinting a new R-Fake, and Pokemon gave people like Cerebi a box at Worlds which hinted a T Pokemon, and they put the date August 22nd, which is just a week away. He said it goes from purple to green, I wonder who it is, and then wrote the expression, I wonder if it's edible. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's edible, maybe it just looks tasty. And he posted this picture saying it's either one of them or none of them, and everyone was thinking it was Weezing until until he said it wasn't. And so a good idea is maybe it's a Sinistcha R fake and he's gonna turn into like green tea or mocha. That's what people are saying. But I wanna offer an alternative idea because I mean, I could be wrong with this, but I think something's off here. I mean, do we really want an R fake of Sinistcha where he's mocha? That's literally like a regional variant. So going back to his tweet here, if you look at the other three, there's some cool fan art like Arnau here who tried to draw the other three in the style of an edible R fake. We got like a dragon fruit wheezing, a citrus berry swallow, and some floating. You see, this is what an R fake would be. It would be nothing related to the original Pokemon. And trust me, there are some cool ideas with Sinistcha. Like for example, its name could be Serenity, as Fakemon here has put it. It's hard to come up with names for our fakes. Oh my god, this fan art has the teacup entrapping something. Some mocha green tea. He's broken the cage he's been trying to get out. Made him look like a villain. He spills out in horns. He's not evil. But I got a better idea for this, right? It could be wrong, but I want you guys to entertain this. What if it's not Sinistcha that gets the R fake? Because if you look at what they gave Cerebi, it was a authentic teacup, right? All encased properly with the bamboo sticks. Sinistcha is a very special Pokemon. For no reason, Pokemon made it like this, where there are forgeries of it, and then the authentic version with the tiny seal on it. This is meaningless. There's no difference between the two Pokemon, aside from being a connoisseur of the arts. You know, I want to collect the original Sinistcha. It's useless, and it's also extremely hard to get the authentic Sinistcha. Somehow you have to find a chipped pot instead of the forged pot. I think a better idea for what they want to reveal on August 22nd is not an R fake of Sinistcha, but Sinistcha evolving. Because you see, if this chipped teapot is completely useless, why don't we split it apart and make the failed forgeries of Sinistcha evolve into some broken down teapot and the authentic ones evolve into something else, so that it actually means something when you're collecting the different forms. What's so important about people making forgeries? There must be something deep down made in these ancient ones that can't be replicated. And when you evolve Sinistcha into Poltegeist and meet the conditions, the true ones will take form into a perfect Pokemon, and then the forgeries will crumble apart. Now, I would say only the authentic ones should get this evolution, kind of like only female combis evolving, but no one has the authentic ones. It's really hard to get, so just make both evolve. You know, Sinistcha was introduced almost 4 years ago, and I know this theory is outlandish, but I want to say it because Galar's being pandered to. So why not evolve Sinistcha and actually give us a reason for why it is the way it is? I don't think making it green tea or mocha fits the rubric of what an R fake should be. They could even evolve not even into the same creature, but two different forms, but two different creatures. The forgeries turned into some abomination, but the original ones turn into some perfect like ghost fairy type. And maybe an ancient creature that will explain the lore of what the Sinistcha teapots really are. I look back to Cerebi getting this box, and that's really what comes to my mind. I'd rather the R fake be something else. I don't want it to be Sinistcha, but you know what? Let's come back here in a week and see if I was right or not, and we can crucify me. But you know, so if Sinistcha isn't the R fake, I have a much better idea for what the R fake can be. I saw one of you guys tweet me this. Go back to Ku's tweet about the R fakes. So, he said, which or none of them? Easy question. But for some reason he wants to complicate it. He says, help you to rule something out, the wheezing. Reminder, look at the question carefully. Apparently, the way we're reading this question, we're not looking at it deep enough. We gotta look at it like he's Shakespeare. Which or none of them? And so the only Pokemon here that is a them is Spiritomb, because he's 108 thems. And so the way you read it could be that you have to collect all 108 of them the same way you did in Legends, but you're collecting 108 of something else that's just looking like Spiritomb. And if you don't have all 108, then it's none of them. So I've been looking up a couple of cool ideas for Spiritomb. Here's one by Matt Zygarde Core called Sour Tomb. Doesn't this excite you much more than Sinistcha? Sour Tomb, regional fake poison ghost. What it is, I mean, it's a ghost. I don't want it to be a ghost, but it's some kind of fruit Pokemon. I guess it carries like 108 possessed fruits. Taking a bite out of the fruit would seem like a bad idea, but Sour Tomb would consider you a friend for life. Okay, it shouldn't be a ghost. When we're making these R fakes, we really need to separate them from the original Pokemon. Just make it pure poison. And so to tamper with this idea a bit. You would make it a Pokemon that gathered these fruits, 108 of them, but they've rotten. And so when someone does eat them and gets sick, it considers them a friend for life. I will be your friend, sir. The full artwork shows it coming out of an Oranberry, so that's why they made it a ghost. But here's a take one of you guys DM me on Instagram. Credit where it's due, because this one was good. Oh god, I can't find it. There's freaking too many of these, man. Here's alright. I think the purple to green Pokemon is Sinistcha. You don't come near me, Sinistcha. Here we got Clay. R fake equals Poltegeist becomes green tea. What should be Sinistcha just because they hate me? Yes! I found it! It's Echo. He says, hey T-Tar, what if Spiritomb is the R fake and it looks like a dandelion? I know what you're thinking. Who cares about them, right? The mechanic is you need to gather all 108 flowers to form it. Dandelion is known to be a symbol of return to life, which is the complete opposite of Spiritomb. Doesn't that sound like a good, I'm totally not Spiritomb, but I'm exactly like it? Okay, that sounded much better in my head, but something like that is good for an R fake. It's completely unrelated to Spiritomb, but coincidentally too much like it. You gather the 108 flowers, and maybe it's something like a normal grass type or a grass fairy type to make it kind of counterpart with this, because for some reason both Wiglet and Toadscroll are super effective on their victims of identity theft. But I mean, look what else the dandelion is, right? A symbol of growth, hope, and healing. The seed heads are commonly picked and blown to make a wish, spreading the seeds at the same time. The seed of the flower and the seed of your wishes. Tell me you still want freaking Sinistcha over this. Why is everyone... I'll fight the masses. I don't want Sinistcha. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this a stupid thing people do where they go to their backyard and eat the dandelion? Edible kinda. I wonder if it's edible. Dandelions are one of the many edible weeds that are not only safe to eat, but nutritious too. It's like some child blew air on a dandelion and it's scattered into 108 pieces, and you've got to gather them back together again. It's been almost a week since I read that theory, and Echo is still the only person to ever think of that. I've been watching the internet, I've been watching Twitter. No one else has come up with this theory, but I think we solved it. I got you, Echo. I know Twitter's thief central, but I got your back. You solved it. Now to see if I can convince the masses with this video. It's not Sinistcha, dog. I'm not allowing this. You know, this is what Twitter still thinks. They still think it's Sinistcha. You know how intellectually ahead we are? You and me? Now that you've watched this video, someone's gonna shoot me. Everyone knows TyranitarTube is the best place to speculate. Come here every day. A different reason for you to gather the 108 of them, and when you gather them all, which are none of them, you finally get the R fate. In this game, maybe you're gonna find these dandelions sprouted up in the ground, and you have to go around the region finding them all. Alright, I'm gonna call it quits there. Make sure y'all shank that like button and let me know. Do you want it to be Sinistcha, or does something like that not sound so much cooler? And how do you think this 19th type works? Keep DMing me your theories on Instagram. We have so much to talk about. I don't know how I'm gonna get through all this, but I'll see you on the next video. Take care.